Catherine de' Medici, the Black Widow. The Medici family of wealthy Florentine bankers, mothers of popes and kings, dominated and ruled Florence between the 15th and 18th centuries, with some interruptions. The heir to the sharp political sense of her ancestors, Catherine saw the light of day on April 13, 1519, in Florence. Daughter of Lorenzo de' Medici II and Madeleine de la Tour d'Auvergne, she was left motherless from the first moment she met life. She was raised by her uncle Pope Clement VII. The great-granddaughter of Lorenzo the Magnificent learned early on to measure the risks of power. She was held hostage in Florence between 1527 and 1530 by the inhabitants revolting against her family. At the age of only 14, she was betrothed to the second son of King Francis I, Henry, Duke of Orleans, for political reasons. Catherine arrived in France in 1533. Her physique, bulging eyes, bony face, dry feminine allure, did not delight her future husband at all. But she was full of vitality, easygoing, extremely cultured and unscrupulous, qualities that ultimately charmed him. She impressed everyone with her talent for riding. However, she led a dull existence at court. King Henry II showed off with his sweetheart, Diane de Poix. Although in 1547, Catherine was crowned at St. Denis, the role of sovereign was played by this 39-year-old woman of irresistible charm. All the more so since, for 10 years, the queen remained sterile. She survives at court through a Florentine disguise. She becomes the favorite's friend, even confidant. In turn, Diana persuades Henry to pay his marital debts. And the miracle happens. Catherine de' Medici gives birth to 10 children in 12 years, between 1544 and 1556, and gains more power. From now on, Henry II entrusts her with the regency of the kingdom whenever he goes to war. On June 29, 1559, King Henry II is mortally wounded in a tournament. Catherine takes over the effective leadership of the kingdom. Always in mourning for 30 years, she manages to retain the reins of power during the reigns of 3 of her sons. Moreover, these weaklings are not capable of administering a kingdom. Tuberculosis, Francis II dies at the age of 16. During her short reign, Florentine is learning to be a ruler. Next comes Charles IX, who is still a child when he ascends the throne. Catherine takes over the regency from Antoine de Bourbon. In order to preserve the prestige of the monarchy, she establishes a demanding understanding of the state. Diane de Poitiers is forced to leave the court immediately, but she is not persecuted excessively. Catherine has more urgent tasks to fulfill. The proliferation of Protestantism threatens the kingdom with secession. To control the situation, she has only mediocre assets. One of these is tolerance. She uses, in this sense, several beautiful girls who make up the famous Flying Squadron. The first target is the Calvinist Chancellor Michel d'El Hospital. After reaching an agreement, Catherine convenes the Council of Poissy in 1561, September-October, a meeting of Catholic and Protestant theologians who try to bring the two theses closer together. Then by an edict in January 1562, also in the spirit of reconciliation between religious adversaries, she granted Calvin's followers the freedom to practice their religion outside the cities. Irritated, the Catholics, led by the Guise clan, triggered the wars of religion after the massacre of Protestants at Wassy 1562. These wars, which coincided with the weakening of royal power, pitted mobile clans Guise, Catholics, against Condé and Bourbon and other religious fanatics. At first, Catherine and her sons tried not to take sides. To ensure the loyalty of the population, the regent set off on a long journey through the country, 2.5 years of tournament of prestige. During this period, she showed the full extent of her political genius. She recovered Le Havre and settled the Calais issue. She proved to be a patron of the arts. She arranges the marriage of her daughter, the libertine Marguerite de Valois, better known as Queen Margot, to a Protestant prince, Henry of Navarre, the future Henry IV, in a new attempt at religious reconciliation. Catherine has a hard time, both as a politician and as a mother, with the independence ambitions of Charles IX and her being led down a dangerous path by Admiral Coligny, the new leader of the Protestants after the death of Condé. On August 23, 1572, surrounded by French and Italian advisors, the Parisian population takes advantage of the situation and on 23 to 24 August, on the night of St. Bartholomew, the Protestants, the Huguenots, in Paris and the provinces are massacred. A new religious war breaks out between 1572 and 1573. Starting in 1574, after the death of Charles IX, the Black Queen acted only behind the scenes on behalf of another son, Henry III.